Disney, through FX, has done something massive with the Alien franchise, and it's the kind of change that fans will be debating for years. In just the first 2 episodes of Alien Earth, the studio has taken decades of established Alien history and rewritten it in bold, unexpected ways. The series isn't just a fun side story or a small addition to the lore. It's a complete shakeup of how we understand the timeline, the xenomorphs' origins, and even the role of some of the franchise's most important characters. This is the first time the Alien story has been told in a serialized TV format, rather than on the big screen. And it's also the first proper return to Earth in the franchise since a tiny glimpse at the end of Alien Resurrection. But the real shock isn't where the story is set. It's how quickly it starts changing everything we thought we knew. From the start, Alien Earth was expected to be different. It was already a big deal for the franchise to make the jump to television, and fans knew a show could explore corners of the universe that the movies never had time for. What no one saw coming was how aggressively the show would rewrite history. In the space of 2 episodes, it has altered the official timeline, dismissed major plot points from the prequel films Prometheus and Alien Covenant, and completely replaced the backstory given in the Alien vs. Predator movies. It's not just retelling old stories, it's replacing them. One of the most surprising moves is how Alien Earth treats Prometheus and Alien Covenant. Technically, it doesn't erase them from existence, but it might as well have. There's no mention of the black goo that was central to Prometheus, no talk of Peter Weyland's secret mission to meet the engineers, and no sign of David's experiments from Covenant. These details were supposed to be the key to explaining the xenomorphs' creation, but the show doesn't even hint at them. That omission becomes even more important once you learn that the USCSS Maginot, the ship at the center of Alien Earth, discovered xenomorph specimens in 2088, 5 years before David's experiments even began. This single fact completely destroys the idea, heavily suggested in Covenant, that David created the xenomorph species. In other words, the monsters were already out there long before David ever started tinkering. For fans who have followed Ridley Scott's prequels, this is a jaw-dropper. The ending of Alien Covenant was clearly meant to set up David's journey as the origin story of the classic black-skinned xenomorphs we saw in the original 1979 Alien. But if Alien Earth is correct, that storyline is impossible. The xenomorphs existed decades earlier, which means David was never their creator. His role in the larger Alien mythos is now completely up for debate, and the prequel film's carefully built arc no longer lines up with the main timeline. The show also wastes no time in wiping away the events of the Alien vs. Predator movies. In AVP, the creatures first arrived on Earth in 2004, and humans had already encountered both the xenomorphs and the Yautja predators. According to those films, the xenomorphs were brought to Earth long before the events of the main Alien series. Alien Earth ignores this completely. In this new version of history, the events of the show mark the first time the xenomorphs have ever set foot on Earth. It's a direct contradiction of AVP's plot, but longtime fans aren't exactly shocked. AVP hasn't been treated as canon for over a decade. Ever since Prometheus was released, AVP has been relegated to fun, non-canon side story status, more of an alternate reality than a main timeline event. By replacing AVP's take on Earth's first contact with xenomorphs, Alien Earth is giving fans a new version that feels much more connected to the tone and world of the main films. Even without the AVP connection, the current Alien timeline is already fascinating. It now goes Prometheus, 2089 to 2093, Alien Covenant 2104, Alien Earth 2120, Alien 2122, Alien Romulus 2142, Aliens 2179, Alien 3 2180, and Alien Resurrection 2379. This order shows exactly where Alien Earth fits, and just how close it is to the events of the very first film. But the prequels and AVP aren't the only areas getting major changes. In just 2 episodes, Alien Earth has redefined the Weyland-Yutani Corporation's role in the future. For years, it was shown as an all-powerful mega-company that controlled almost everything, both on Earth and in space. Fans referred to it simply as the company, because it seemed like there were no real competitors. Now we find out that Earth in 2120 is ruled by 5 different corporations, each dominating its own sector of industry. Weyland-Yutani still has complete control of space exploration and colonization, but other corporations like Prodigy are leading the charge in different areas, including the race to achieve human immortality. This new corporate landscape opens the door for more political and economic drama in the Alien universe, with competing interests possibly shaping future conflicts. Another huge change comes from the introduction of hybrid synthetics. In previous films, androids were just advanced man-made machines, often with their own secret agendas. Now Alien Earth reveals that they're part of a much bigger plan, linked to the quest for immortality. It turns out that these synthetics are tied to efforts to transfer human consciousness into artificial bodies, making them less like tools and more like the next stage of human evolution. This revelation reframes the entire concept of artificial life in the Alien franchise, even making David from the prequels seem less like a one-off genius creation, and more like a small part of a much larger movement. The show also gives us a new perspective on the xenomorphs themselves. Fans have long known that the creatures have no visible eyes, and earlier comics suggested that they navigate using an advanced sense of smell. In Alien Earth, however, we learn that xenomorphs can actually detect fear. A character named Moro manages to escape one by controlling his emotions, hinting that the monsters may be even more dangerous and instinct-driven than previously thought. This ability adds a new layer of horror to the creatures, making them predators not just of flesh, but of human psychology. Despite how radical these changes are, they all make sense in the context of the story. There's no reason for the characters in Alien Earth to mention Prometheus or Covenant. Those missions were either top secret or considered mysterious disappearances. Without a direct connection to the plot, forcing those references in would have felt unnatural. The same goes for AVP, which has been outside the main canon for years. By ignoring it entirely, Alien Earth gets to present a cleaner, more consistent version of how humanity first encounters xenomorphs on Earth. There's also the possibility that Prometheus and Covenant could still fit into the larger story later on. Just because David didn't create the main xenomorph species doesn't mean he has no role in their history. Future installments might reveal that he contributed to specific mutations or subspecies, keeping his character relevant without making him the sole origin point. This approach gives the writers flexibility to honor past films while still telling new stories. The real brilliance of Alien Earth is that by not being tied down to every past plot point, it's free to tell its own story. It doesn't need to explain black goo or weave in the Yautja. It can focus on building new mysteries, introducing new alien lifeforms, and deepening the universe in ways that feel fresh but still familiar. This freedom allows the show to expand the franchise while still respecting its tone and core themes. If these first 2 episodes are any indication, Alien Earth isn't just another addition to the Alien saga. It's a bold new chapter that could redefine the series for a whole new generation of fans.